Hello everybody, I'm Thrash Maniac HD, and this is your WWE Survivor Series 2013 pay-per-view review. And before I get started, I was kind of surprised with how the show went. Going into the show, I thought it would be just an average show, but no, the show kind of took me a little bit by surprise. This show kind of turned into a pretty damn good pay-per-view. Not a terrible match on this card. I mean, you had some alright matches, but a few to maybe about half the matches were pretty good. So, yeah, that's what I thought about the matches and stuff. But let's get to the review, shall we? So we started off with the pre-show, The Miz versus Kofi Kingston. I thought for a pre-show match, I thought it was a good match. Miz ended up picking up the win like I predicted he would, since he turned heel and he needs momentum going in as a heel. And in the beginning of the match, he tried to shake Kofi's hand, and he did. And then the rest of the match went the way it went. And then after Miz won, he tried to shake Kofi's hand again. Kofi, whack, smacked the fucking shit out of Miz. So I'm guessing this feud between these two is still going to go on. But, yeah. But I thought this match was a good pre-show match. If you guys want star ratings for the matches, as usual, the star ratings are in the description box. Now we get to, and the panel, the all-star panel we got for this month. Bret Hart, Booker T, Mick Foley, and Mick Foley. So many people are trying to grow the big beards, and I love it. It's awesome. But, real quick. I was just checking on my Grand Theft Auto real quick. But now we get to the actual show, the rest of the 7 matches that we've got. And we kicked off the show with the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Cody Rhodes, Goldust, the Usos, and Rey Mysterio versus The Shield and the Real Americans. Hands down, match of the night. I thought this was a phenomenal, a great, amazing match right here. So much cool stuff. At one point in the match, it was 5-2 when it came down to all the members of the Rhodes team and the Usos and Ray to Rollins and Reigns at the Shield. I thought, oh boy, are they going to do a clean sweep here? But the Shield, Rollins and Reigns came back and brought it down to 2-2. And then after one person was gone, it came down to Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio. Roman Reigns, the MVP of this match. I thought he did a phenomenal job in the ring. As far as in-ring ability, he definitely showed that he can go. He was the MVP of this match. I thought he did an amazing job during this match. And he took out 3 members, I believe, of the Rhodes family by himself. So 3 out of 5, pretty impressive. And it came down to him and Ray, and as Ray was going for the 619, Roman Reigns turns around, boom, spears Rey Mysterio, and 1, 2, 3, Shield Real Americans win with Roman Reigns as the sole survivor. So yeah, this match was amazing. Star rating in the description box. Then we get to the Intercontinental title match. Big E Langston versus Curtis Axel. I thought this was a decent match. It was, I think it was better than their match they had on Raw. But then again, it's not really saying much. But Big E Langston, I'm really liking him being Intercontinental Champion. I think it was a little bit overdue for him to win some championship, whether it was a mid-card or a tag title. But he's got the once prestigious Intercontinental Championship. And he retains the title here against Axel. Again, I thought this was a decent match. Star rating in the description box. Now we get to the 7-on-7 Divas Survivor Series traditional elimination match. The total Divas being Natalya, Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Cameron, Naomi, Eva Marie, and JoJo versus what I call the real Divas. AJ Lee, Tamina, Kaitlyn, Aksana, Alicia Fox, Rosa Mendes, and Summer Rae. For a Divas match standard, it was a good match, but in actual real wrestling, it was an alright match. I didn't think this was a bad match at all. Although it kind of went a little long, it went about a little over 10 minutes, how it felt for me, but I thought this match was alright. Diva standards, it was a good match, but for regular wrestling standards, it was an alright match. And it came down to Tamina and AJ against Nikki Bella and Natalya. Natalya puts AJ Lee in the sharpshooter, taps her out. The Total Divas team wins with Nikki Bella and Natalya being the survivors of their team. Then again, I wanted the Real Divas to win, but I picked the Total Divas people to win. So far, I am 3 for 4 in predictions here. I got the Shield match wrong, but hey, I'll always be wrong at something. But then we get a random appearance from Ryback out there saying that he issues an open challenge to anybody, and basically also burning down the Hall of Fame panel up in the panel area, saying that they're cowards because they can't do anything to stop me and everything like that. So he issues an open challenge to anybody who wants to face him. And who do you know? The returning new look Mark Henry, bald with a bigger beard. So Mark Henry returns, and for the first time in 3 months. But yeah, he came back, and for a big man match, I thought this was an alright match. Then again, I thought this was the worst match of the show, but it wasn't a terrible match. It was just okay or average. But Mark Henry won for his return. I thought this was pretty cool to see him come back. And hell, if the rumors are true, I heard that, and I read it online, that there's a possibility that now Mark Henry's going to be inserted back into the WWE title picture, and hopefully he beats Randy Orton, so that way we can have the first ever African-American WWE champion. That would be amazing. But Ryback Mark Henry was alright, and once again, for the matches, star ratings in the description. Then we get to the World Heavyweight title match, John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. I thought this was a really good match. I thought this match was way better, in my opinion at least, than their Hell in a Cell match they had last month. Cena, with that injured arm, he's got courage. You gotta admit, even if you like him or hate him, you gotta respect his will to compete and his will to keep the fans entertained. You gotta respect that about him. And Del Rio did pretty good in this match. But once again, John Cena came out on top like I wanted to, because I think Del Rio's had his time with the World Heavyweight Championship. I'd like to see him get another run with the WWE title, considering the 2 runs he had didn't last longer than a month. So, yeah. I think Del Rio should be out of the World Heavyweight title picture for good, and hopefully get a spot in the WWE title picture at some point. But John Cena retains. That was awesome. And for the crowd, because they were in Boston, it was like about 65% cheering for Cena, 35% booing Cena. In fact, there was a little line of about almost a whole row of Cena sucks signs or anti-Cena Nation signs. But John Cena retains. I thought this was a really good match. Star rating in the description. We move from one really good match to another. Next up, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan versus Luke Harper, Erick Rowan. I thought this was a really good tag match. This match took me a little bit by surprise. I figured this match would be decent, but it turned out to be really good for me to watch. Seeing Luke Harper do the sit-down powerbomb from the second rope, that was pretty cool. Um, Erick Rowan, I thought, did pretty good in this match. And CM Punk Daniel Bryan ended up picking up the win after Punk nailed the GTS on Luke Harper. And at one point, Punk jumped from the top rope to take out both Rowan and Bray Wyatt. I thought that was a pretty cool spot. But CM Punk Daniel Bryan wins. Star rating in the description box. I thought, to me, this was a really good match. And now we move on to the main event, the WWE title match, Randy Orton versus The Big Show. For what it was okay. I mean, I kind of figured it was going to be like this. I wanted to stay optimistic and say this match could have surprised us. But it was basically, for the most part, Big Show just beating the hell out of Orton for the most part in the match until... I'm just checking something on my TV right now. Until the Authority came back out, and throughout the night we didn't have any interference until this match. But they said no physical interference, which is true, but they still interfered. The Authority came out, distracted Big Show. Orton RKO's Big Show, and then does the punt to Big Show. And Randy Orton retains. And then afterwards, Orton celebrates with the Authority, but then out comes Cena, which was a completely all from out of a big surprise. I thought that was surprising. Orton came out, or not Orton, Cena came out, and I don't know, this could be building up for maybe a title unification match. I don't know, but I'm thinking we're going to see another Orton-Cena feud. I mean, I'm not going to have too big of a problem with this happening again, like a lot of people are, because I'm not too negative at everything in wrestling, although I am negative about some things, but not everything. So I'm going to keep my opinion and say that I won't have too big of a problem if Orton-Cena happens again. Especially with them both being world champions. We haven't seen that before between those two in a feud. We never saw when they were each a prospective world champion go after each other in a match like this. And if it is a title unification match, this would be interesting. But I don't know. They could be setting it up for that, or they could be setting up for something else. I don't know. I'm going to be interested in see what's going to happen on Raw tomorrow night with this. But once again, for what it was an alright match. Star rating in the description. But aside from that, I thought Survivor Series was a pretty good pay-per-view. Took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be a decent show. It turned out to be pretty good for me to watch. But hands down, match of the night was the Team Rhodes versus Team Shield match. That match was amazing. And kudos to Roman Reigns. I'm going to be looking forward to see what he's going to do when he moves away from the Shield. And overall, I give the pay-per-view 3 out of 5 stars. Overall, pretty good show. It was better than Hell in a Cell and way better than Battleground and a little bit better than Night of Champions. So I think this has been the best pay-per-view they've had since SummerSlam. But then again, SummerSlam's the best pay-per-view of the year, and I think it will probably be that way. Once I make the video at the end of the year of the in order from worst to best pay-per-views for WWE this year. But yeah, that was my Survivor Series review. Now, before I go, I want to do a little quick thought about Survivor Series in general. Yesterday, I watched We Are Pro Wrestling's video about when did he think Survivor Series started to lose its prestige. It was like a fan interaction thing he did with a bunch of people. I forgot to be a part of it, but I decided to make a video back about it. Pretty much, when I saw in the comments in that video, most people thought that Survivor Series lost its prestige between 2005 and 2009. I would agree with that, except I would say Survivor Series really lost its prestige in 2009. Because if you think about it, and We Are Pro Wrestling made perfect sense when he said it. The first 4, 87, 88, 89, 90, were the Apex Survivor Series. Well, that was the Apex era for Survivor Series, because at the time it was the number 2 pay-per-view that you could argue it was number 2. Yeah, you had SummerSlam, Royal Rumble come in, in '88, but Survivor Series was the #2 pay-per-view because it was the second ever pay-per-view they ever made behind WrestleMania. Excuse me. So the first 4 was part of the Apex era for the show. Then in '91, that's where it started to change. Like the first 4 Survivor Series were strictly traditional elimination matches. '91, you saw a change. A couple of them, 2 changes. It went from Thanksgiving Day to Thanksgiving Eve, and they added in a WWE title match as a special attraction between Undertaker and Hulk Hogan. So that was the start of Survivor Series becoming from Apex to big but not as big. Then in 1992, you saw a big change where you only had one, or where they had only one Survivor Series match. And it was a tag team one, and it was like the whole 5-on-5 team match with 5 teams versus 5 teams, where if one member of a team is eliminated, the whole team is gone. With 8 people, 4 teams, that was how it was, and then the rest of the matches were grudge matches or title matches or what have you. '93, it kind of went back to a little bit of an older format with mostly traditional match, with pretty much all traditional matches and a couple of tag matches, or one tag match or 2. And that show wasn't very good. Same with '92, but yeah. And it was because the reason why it was so good is because you had some build up to it with a couple matches, and then when a couple guys had, it was because of replacements was why this pay-per-view lost its interest, you could say. And then in '94 through '97, they went to the format where you have 2 traditional matches, everything else can be whatever. Then in '98, they reinvented the wheel again with the whole element of survival and elimination still in play, but with the Deadly Games tournament for the WWE title, where The Rock became the corporate champ. And that was one of the best Survivor Series shows ever. And then '99 through '01, you didn't really have a traditional match, a traditional Survivor Series. You had some elimination style matches here and there, maybe one traditional match. But then in '02, they reinvented the wheel again, made the whole survival elimination element still be in play, but with a unique twist. Like the opening match with Bubba Ray, Spike, and Jeff Hardy. Bubba Ray Dudley, Spike Dudley, Jeff Hardy against 3-Minute Warning and Rico in the Elimination Tables match. And then the 3-team WWE Tag Title match, and then the Elimination Chamber. Then from 2003 to 2008, they kind of went back to the '94-'97 format of having 1 or 2 traditional matches. Everything else can be whatever. So from '92 to '08 was where it was at that point where it was big but not as big. But then 2009 was the beginning of the end for Survivor Series because of the gimmick pay-per-views coming in. I know some people are going to be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. When you think about it, 2009, the month before Survivor Series, you had the Bragging Rights pay-per-view where they had a 7-on-7 Survivor Series style match a month before Survivor Series. And that wasn't necessary at all. They could have saved that for the Survivor Series. So that was the tangent that went from big but not as big to where it is now, where not a lot of people care about, and WWE doesn't even care. Hell, 2010, they considered taking the show off the schedule, but they realized, it's one of our big 4, let's keep it. And then from 2010 to now is where, no, WWE doesn't care about the Survivor Series. And also, they have to think the gimmick pay-per-views have to be more important. So yeah, in my opinion, 2009 was where Survivor Series lost all of its prestige. But do I think it has a chance to go back to Apex? No, but to big but not as big? Maybe, if they cared about the pay-per-view. Because it's WWE, it's your second longest pay-per-view you've ever had. Care about it. Please. But anyways, that does for this video. Overall, Survivor Series this year, pretty good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. But until next video, peace.